imagination evaporates. The long wait is over. Bafana are going to the World Cup next year.
October 14th, 2025, it is a day South African football fans will never forget. Finally, Bafana have qualified for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. As a South African myself, I can say I used to pray for times like this so we can shine like this. Look, this is a moment we nearly lost due to our association's negligence, but we overcame the hurdle. Like the quote says, delayed but never denied. All of this would have never been possible without Hugo Broos at the helm. Come to another football channel. Before I highlight the importance of Hugo Broos as the manager for Bafana, I just need us, man, to actually do the knowledge when it comes to South African football and understand how much football means to us as South Africans. As you know, South Africa was under the apartheid regime, a regime that saw black people in the country being racially discriminated and also segregated. Football was one of those things that black people could use as an escape, man, to experience joy from what was happening in their lives. Since SAFA at that time wanted a whites-only team, they found themselves being banned by CAF in 1958 and also by FIFA since they couldn't comply with the FIFA regulations, which meant South African football didn't exist in terms of an international scale, but it did exist at a domestical stage. And also, black players couldn't participate in the country's top leagues since some of these teams that were competing in those top leagues, they were white-owned. And also, since South African football didn't exist at an international scale, financial resources would be allocated to white-only sports such as rugby, cricket, athletics, and so on. Here's 1971, George Tabeko founded the NPCL, which was a league that provided a platform for black clubs and black players. Fast forward to 1985, the NPCL had grown into a force, which saw a new league emerging called the NSL. The league drew massive crowds and broke apartheid barriers. Football clubs would be integrated with a dash of white, Indian, and colored players. February 11th, 1990, Nelson Mandela gets released from Robben Island after 27 years, but his release wouldn't happen without the apartheid government heading into bankruptcy due to some of the sanctions against them and also some of the boycotts that took place in the 80s. Release of Mandela from prison, talks were going on to lead South Africa away from the apartheid government and launch South Africa into a new democratic version of itself. 1991, SAFA were reformed. This time it was a multiracial SAFA and they complied with the FIFA regulations and they got accepted by FIFA. Bafana's first game was against Cameroon on the 7th of July 1992, in which they won 1-0. They went on to participate in the 1994 AFCON qualifiers, but they failed to qualify and they finished third in their group. And also they went on to participate in the 94 FIFA World Cup qualifications, but also they didn't manage to go. Then in 1994, Nelson Mandela was elected as the first black president of South Africa, even though the road to democracy wasn't easy, but finally it was a goal achieved for the country. With Madiba Magic in the air, South Africa hosts the 1996 AFCON. They were led by Clive Barker as their coach/manager. Look, you catch my drift, however you want to call it. Look, South African football was entertaining, man. Similar to Brazil's football, you know, what do they call it? Joga bonito? Look, Bafana played football how it was meant to be played, man. Entertain the crowd, allow individuals to bring their skills to the table, man, and create moments that kid would replicate in the streets, playing football after watching that football game. They were drawn with Egypt, Cameroon, and Angola. Look, when you look at this group on paper, man, it looked like they never had a chance. But guess what? With the Madiba Magic in the air and the crowd as a 12th man, look, they dog-walked Cameroon by beating them 3-0. And also, they beat Angola 1-0 to advance to the quarterfinals. On their road to winning the tournament, they beat Algeria 2-1, went on to beat Ghana in the semis 3-0, and in the final, they took on Tunisia. They won 2-0 to lift their first AFCON trophy. After the 96 AFCON victory, Bafana qualified for the 1998 World Cup, which was their first, but they got knocked out in the group stage, losing to eventual champions France 3-0 and playing 2 draws against Denmark and Saudi Arabia. And also, they nearly went close, man, to pulling a back-to-back on the AFCON title in 1998, but they lost to Egypt in the final. Managers kept changing like tires, but Bafana men kept on making their mark. In the 2000 AFCON, they finished in third place, taking the bronze, and then went on to qualify for the 2002 World Cup, but they failed to make it to the knockout stages. Look, that golden generation, man, they produced talents like Benny McCarthy, Phil Masinga, Mark Fish, Lucas Ratele, John Shoes Mushwewu, Dr. Khumalo, man, just to name a few, the golden generation of South African football. Managers kept coming, but the decline was inevitable. Look, they qualified for the 04 and 06 AFCON, but they couldn't progress to the knockout stages of the competition. They failed to qualify for the 2006 World Cup, just like I keep on saying. Managers kept changing, but the football, man, it wasn't the same. Look, the talent was there, but man, the combos were not communicating.
In midfield, Carlos Alberto Ferreira can hardly believe his eyes, as can same goes for the rest of the crowd packed into this blue man's ground.
They qualified for the 08 AFCON, but they failed to go through the knockout stages. Look, even though we did host the 2010 World Cup, look, that was the moment, man. With the whole country behind you, man, you had something to play for. Look, besides the Simphiwe Shabalala goal and also us beating France in the last game of the group stage, those are the only memories that I have when it comes to Bafana in that World Cup. I can say after the 2020 World Cup, man, like, we had lost faith, man. Like, even though Bafana would play in qualifiers for the AFCON or whatever, man, they would do this thing where they get results when you're not expecting them to get results. Or they build your expectations high. The moment when you expect them to pull the trigger, man, all I can say, they were an accident waiting to happen. They failed to qualify for the 2012 AFCON, even though we did host the 2013 AFCON, man. But are we going to make an impact on the tournament? Like, yeah, it was like, yeah, Bafana, okay. But since then, man, like, we failed to qualify for 2014 World Cup. AFCON, like, since that 2013 AFCON, we participated in as hosts. We never saw another edition of the AFCON. When AFCON comes, we'll be watching other teams. World Cup, look, they missed 2 editions, man. After the 2010 World Cup, the 2014, 2018, we couldn't make it. We did qualify for 2019 AFCON, but we were so negative as a country when it came to Bafana, man. Like, look, we all knew, look, we saw players in the PSL. They could be in the form of their life, but the moment you think, like, they're going to be playing for Bafana, man, it's like, then accident waiting to happen. We made it to the knockout stages of the tournament. We beat Egypt. Even I as a fan, like, I was so negative about that game. Like, we have no chance against Mo Salah's Egypt, but we knocked them out. Quarterfinals, it is finally, man, we're starting to feel confident about Bafana. They get knocked out by Nigeria. Hugo Broos gets appointed. At this point, we're like, shit, here we go again. We've seen this movie before. They're going to get a foreign manager. He comes in, he gets the money, then there's no improvement when it comes to Bafana. Just like I said, man, like, Bafana, they were the laughing stock. You have Banyana on the rise, man. Like, Banyana, they are, I can say they were the only, when it comes to talking about South African football at an international level, you wouldn't talk about the men's national team. You would talk about the women's national team. But guess what? Hugo Broos does something that any other manager's never done. Give you players a chance in this. You give players, man, who are competing in the PSL a proper chance, irrespective of the football club they're playing for. You give them a chance because they've been performing well in the league. Look, we nearly came close to qualifying for the 2022 World Cup. They're playing entertaining football. It seemed like finally Bafana, man, they have a sense of identity. In some games, yeah, they would control possession. At times, they would defend, hit teams on the counter, especially when they would take on teams that I can say, in terms of quality, they were better than them. Look, we head into the AFCON that was hosted in Cote d'Ivoire, right? Look, I'm gonna be honest. Nobody. I don't want people lying and saying, man, I knew Bafana had this. Bafana had this. Nobody Nobody believed in us. You had Pandits talking crazy about Bafana. A few people, but majority of the countrymen, those were pessimistic about Bafana. 2-0. Okay, the country's negative. Oh, Bafana back at it again. Being negative. We beat Namibia 4-0. We draw against Tunisia. We head into the knockout stage. We play favorites, Morocco, after what they displayed in the 2022 World Cup, finishing in the semis. Everyone had Morocco as their favorites. And guess what? We knock out Morocco. We take on another, I can say, the dark horse of the tournament, Cape Verde. We head into penalty shootouts. It is Ronwen Williams produces one of the best goalkeeping moments I have. Listen, he saved, I think, 3 or 4 penalties, if memory serves me well. He saves 3 or 4 penalties, man. He makes a mark. We take on Nigeria. It is we play 1-1 and then we lose on penalties. And then it is we go for that dead spot against Congo. It is we win on penalties. We get that bronze medal. And then finally it seems, I can say, I don't blame people for being negative. It is about Bafana because, look, we've been through a lot when it comes to Bafana. Since, man, the 2023 AFCON, man, the country finally believes in Bafana. Look, just like I said, they play entertaining football. The players, man, play with pride for the country, man. This shit means something to them, man. Like, they play entertaining football. The players play with pride, man. Look, they've already qualified for the upcoming 2025 AFCON, and now they've qualified for the 2026 World Cup. Look, Hugo Broos, man, he has instilled confidence and pride in which the past teams, man, they lacked. Talent was there, but they lacked that certain vavavoom, man, to play for the national team. Look, just like I said, he gives young players in the PSL a chance to shine, man. Some of them, we do have players that are playing in the top 5 European leagues, but they still get a chance. Right, look, for me, if he wins the AFCON, right, the upcoming 2025 AFCON, man, like, for me, that would be a successful tenure. And also in the World Cup, irrespective of who we get drawn with in the group stage, man, if we just make it to the knockout stage, man, in the World Cups that we have participated from the 90 and the 3 World Cups we have participated in, we have never made it through the knockout stages. I believe in these players, and whoever comes up after him, look, the blueprint for success, it has been laid. And also, there is emerging talent coming through the countrymen in tournaments such as the Multi-Choice Disc League. You have the Under-20 who just recently won the AFCON. And also, we do have talent. Players are going to put on the best football that they have ever played, irrespective of whether they play for the top sides or your mid-table or relegation teams. The best football that they have ever played, man. Look, you have a chance to be included in the 2025 AFCON squad for Bafana. You also have a chance to be included in the 2026 World Cup. If somehow suffer, man, do not fumble this by trying to politic their way with the money getting from these tournaments. If they invest in the talent in terms of grassroots, man, I am telling you, I'm telling you, the sky is the limit for South African football. If you've made it this far to the video, man, thank you so much. Please like, share, holla back.